iPhone 12 Pro Max logic board came in like this. Data is really important. Let's directly go. My name is Dr. Ben, Rescue Germany, and we try to get data out of this logic board. By the way, I would be very happy if you would subscribe the channel here, and we directly start. We go to the top cam. We have an iPhone 12 Pro Max logic board here. So somebody already worked before on that. We go to the microscope and have a look how that looks like and if we can do something here. So what we see is that somebody already took out the EMI shield here, removed components, used hot air, cracked the NAND here on the side. And if we connect this logic board to power supply, what we get is a full short on VDD main probably. So we go directly to 5 amps. So we connect. What doesn't work actually is on the right corner you can normally see what our power supply does. Okay, you can see it goes directly to 5 amps. So we have probably short on VDD main. I don't know why the technician before just didn't check what's exactly wrong with the board and just remove the shield on the front side. The way I start is just I want to separate the logic board and want to separate the logic board and want to have a look. First, I want to have a look in which way I have to get the board down. iPhone 12 Pro Max. Here we are. So sorry, iPhone 12 Pro Max, and we just separate the logic board and see where is the short circuit. Do we need to swap the board? For the case that we need to swap the board for get access to the important data, I already prepared another iPhone 12 Pro Max logic board so we could swap the CPU, the logic EEPROM and the NAND to this stunner and then boot the board to get access to the important data, but that's always the worst case. So the best case would be we only have a short circuit on the logic board, and I want to go the steps through with you. So the first thing we did was that we just checked behavior on power supply. The next thing is that we separate the logic board, then check again on power supply. After that, we need to go under the microscope or to take thermal like ever and then see where the issue is. So backside, still a sticker on it. So need to get down the sticker and then we just heat up the board and use the preheater too. So we use one time on the bottom side, we use the preheater. From top we come with a little bit of hot air just to speed up the whole process, okay? I hope that you are all fine. We didn't see for a long time on this channel. The last thing we did together was the review for the Infiray P2 Pro, which I actually use every day and it works pretty fine for me. So, okay. And now we see if we already can separate the top layer from the middle frame. And we can. Okay, so separated for the first step. Then we check again on power supply if we still have a short circuit. So we connect. We start listening here. We connect like this and we still have a short circuit. I need to go to switch to this here so you can see. So directly 5 amps. Okay, I just go to take the thermal cam next door. 1 second. Here we are. Let's see. Let's see what we can see, okay? I try to get it like that so you can see what I do. I need to get my Ukelon here again, but in this video we will check the infi ray. What's wrong here? Okay, we don't see anything. Other side. Other side. Do you see that? Okay, here is something. The coil gets hot, but it's not about the coil. Okay, let's go directly under the microscope and see what do we have here. So was it corrosion or whatever? What the heck was the issue here? I don't know. But what I see here, hey, come on. Don't you want to work? Yeah, now my dust absorber wants to work. Not a big problem. And I want just to take out this. And let's see what about our short circuit then. Okay, we had corrosion here. So probably water damage. Burned pads already. Hardly burned pads. So what I just don't understand is, why do you take parts around, remove them, but don't go to the right point here? I'll just clean that area. Okay, and what we see is that this coil doesn't sit right here. So what is the thing here? Okay, we let it sit again in the right way. Let's check for behavior on power supply. Connect in the right way. Start listening for you here. And what we see is that we still have an issue here. Yeah, and that's a burn trace. That's a burn trace here. Do you see that? That's pretty interesting. So this trace is burned in. So we have a layer damage here. Do you see that? So the burn comes from the layer. It was a short circuit here under the chip, and the layer burned completely. It's crazy. It's interesting to see. So we have a burnt layer issue. So, and after I scratched this away, we see that it looks much better. So let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. Let's give it a try to boot. Because we only need data. And let's see for the values on power supply. Can we? Yeah, looks like we can get it to boot. I'm just in this window here because here you can see the readings on the right bottom side of the screen. I just go to get a screen and see if this thing really wants to boot or not. So 12 Pro. Connect in the right way. Connect in the right way. Get it connected to the get power supply connected to the logic board can be complicated sometimes, but we will see that we get it. Okay, so now I just give you to the top cam and let's see what happens if we try to boot. Can we get a boot? Yeah, we can get a boot. The screen has an issue too, but that should not be the problem at all. I just go to get it like that because I don't know about personal images. I thought we need to swap this. Oh, and we get a reboot. Yeah, we get a reboot. So no complete boot here. So we are at a loop. Let's see, and we still at a loop. Yeah, we are at a loop, and the problem is that we could now start fixing this mess here, okay? But for me, this doesn't make any sense. So because the time I need to fix this, to check all the traces which go there and to fix them and jump at them and look for more corrosion and do measurements for seeing why this device doesn't want to boot, it makes more sense for me, in my opinion, to swap the board. And that's now a board swap video. We swapped the logic board for an iPhone 12 Pro Max after prior repair attempt, after water damage, whatever. And we start by removing the logic EEPROM on the swap board on our Dana. Like this. Remove the logic EEPROM and take the logic EEPROM from this board. Why do we need that? For getting access to the important data, we need the logic EEPROM, the CPU and the NAND. Okay, we lost the cover and we lost the chip. But that's not a problem at all. We get it again here. We get it again here. And that's pretty fine because now We just need to take a look how it was sitting before. The little hint is to check, okay, here we need to have two bigger bolts on the chip, otherwise we could do a measurement, but we clearly see that these two bolts are bigger and they need to be on the right top. So what you can learn out of this is always fix your chip, especially your logic EEPROM, until it gets connection. So now we are fine. The logic EEPROM sits fine. This is the CPU surface, looks pretty good on our Dunner. If we try to boot the Dunner, we need to have a good value for. So we check the value, and the value should be around 30 milliamps, and then we are pretty fine. So we know that our Dunner is good, our logic EEPROM is connected in the right way, and what we need to do now is just removing the CPU and the NAND and get these two components to our swap board to then boot the board and get access to the important data on it. So I just clean the surface of the CPU and we start by removing the NAND. Why do we start by removing the NAND on a swap and not start with the CPU in this case? Because I just want to heat the board up a little bit, and the board heats up pretty good if we first remove the NAND. So the board has temperature after that, and then we can just remove the rest. I just need to get a tool. 1 second. And I'm here again. So, and let's go. Because we don't need this board anymore, it's like we can remove these here. They are not needed anymore. So, and now we can go to the right temperature. I just preheated it a little bit. And we have the CPU out. Okay. Now, the NAND out, sorry. Now we go straight to the CPU. Just need to fix it like this. Then we need to go here to the CPU. And we are pretty fine here, like you see. That looks pretty good. CPU was coming out fast. Now we just remove the glue around the CPU with the plate one time. And then we clean the CPU. In this case, we have a CPU which came off without a lot of glue on it. So the glue stayed at the logic board, and that's pretty nice for us because we have less work for cleaning the CPU, okay? So now we just need some paste here. Some paste directly onto the solder tip. Then we go one time around and get the solder onto the pads of the CPU. Okay, we're done. Great. This is my broken tip cleaner from JBC. Okay, now we just clean the CPU as fast as possible. We don't have to do much in this case. We are lucky here. Everything which I have here is JBC, and this unit is new, the JBC JTSEQ. Doesn't work right, the tip cleaner doesn't work right, so I have to mail that all back to the manufacturer. So now we should get temperature, and you see, if we have temperature, it's no problem to remove the glue here. So, okay, this looks pretty fine. So we can clean that CPU. Looks good. Yeah, looks pretty fine, I think. And now we can go to the NAND. After we cleaned them too, we can just reball them and get them to our swap board to get a boot. So we already saw an apple after we just removed that layer damage, but we still had a loop and I don't want to waste time. So if you count the time now, which I need for swapping them components, you will see it takes less time than doing diagnostics, doing jumpers, fixing the issue, and then getting the board to a boot prompt. So for me, I want to go the fastest way to get access to the important data, and in this case, for me, it's swap that shit. And we didn't had a swap video for a long time. So I hope that you are fine with it and you are lucky because we have an experienced video again here. And if you have ideas what you want to see on the channel, just give us a comment, give me a comment in the under the video, and we can talk about that for sure. That shouldn't be a problem. I just clean up the stencil and get it ready. And I need to get some toilet paper for doing the reball. Here I am again. So, we need to get some toilet paper. In this case, not for the S, but for a nice reball. So, okay. Let's start with this tiny CPU. Just clean one more time again. As you saw, there was some dirt. And now we are good to go, I think. Always important, have a look that you don't damage any deep trench caps. They don't like much pressure. They don't like to get touched in a hard way. Okay. So, and I forgot the next thing, sorry. So, I forgot my spatula for getting in the paste. So now we get the paste into the stencil. Gently, like I said, don't get too much pressure on it because of the deep trench caps. Because if they crack, you need to replace, you need to use heat again, and they often got issues with deep trench caps even after you took off the CPU because of the heat, whatever solder joint connection between the points under the deep trench caps, or cracks because you push too hard. So we heat up the stencil by circling. After that, we reball the CPU. This JBC has more heat than my other one. You see it, even if I'm at a low temperature, I need to sand this back because it's not stable for the temperature. So, and if you work with a machine like that and you have the wrong board and you don't know that the machine doesn't matches the temperature, you can destroy UFS chips, you can destroy CPUs, whatever. And it's just not good. So the machine takes a lot of money, and it was replaced some months before, and the new machine still got issues. But the servers of JBC is pretty okay, because they just replaced their machines without any issues. But it's always like you have to mail in, you have to wait for the new one, and that's not cool. Reflow. Like this. Now we are pretty fine. Get the CPU here. Get the NAND here. Reball the NAND. And then get them 2 parts back to the known good logic board and get a boot to get access to the important data on this iPhone 12 Pro Max. And what do we learn out of this video? If you don't know how to work on them boards, first learn and then work on customers' boards, and not learn on customers' boards, because then things like this can happen and Dr. Ben has to fix it. And normally for repairs we don't work on prior repair attempts. For data recovery we do. Because if you worked on boards before, we don't know how much heat did you use and whatever. And if we repair board like this and it comes back after a time with an issue, it's bad for us and we don't like that, okay? So I fixed the board on the holder. iPhone series, just check for the A1. Yeah, should be on the right top. I'm right, yes. I'm right here, just checked for the A1, but it's the right top. So I do them often, but because I do many different jobs, I have to check that from time to time. We have some more clue here. So, but I had aerated this by just seeing here the cracks because they were on the bottom. So, not a problem at all. We just get the NAND down. Like this, that's pretty fine. Turn the board. Have a look that everything is clean enough for getting down the CPU. Then place the CPU. Looks good. And solder it down. Done. Okay. Control from the side. Let's see for the bolts. Looks perfect. Okay. Oh, my microphone. Come here. Okay, and Now we just go to the top cam. You can see the swap board, still hot. The swap board. Okay, and now we just need to give it a try. So we need to give it a try. So we connect power supply like this. Or let us do it in this row. So because it's a 12 Pro, we need to connect it from the different side, because otherwise we wouldn't connect it, right? Okay, so now we just need to boot that phone, to boot that board, and this looks pretty fine. So value is fine. Let's check for the boot. Need to hold the pins to get a boot. Hold the pins rightly connected. Yeah. Boomy! We see an Apple on this iPhone 12 Pro Max. So I show you the values on booting up. So we just start here. So now you see that we come over the 2 amps on boot. And here we are. We have a picture. So we go to the top cam. So the screen is on and we see we can use it. It's only we don't have connected a front flex. So I just do it like that. I go to get a front flex and I want to show you the complete boot, okay? So here I am again with a front flex. Connect the front flex like this. Then I want to show you the values on powering up the phone. So if I connect, you can see it goes like this. We hold. That's fine value. We need to hold, then the value is fine. Always if you have your tweezers and need to hold the pins, you need to be in the exactly the right way, so on the right point. Let's try it again. I need to hold it to get a boot. No. One more time. Here, that pin bridging to ground. That pin here, bridging to ground. And then we will see boot. Yeah, here we are. So, you see that the value, see on the right bottom side, you see that the value for the boot is totally okay. So now we switch to the top cam. So you can see that we have an Apple here. I just go to this side because personal background image. And here we can see we can use touch. We can use everything. The value, if we go to the microscope again for the value on the right bottom side is totally okay. So that's pretty fine. So now we can save the important data out of this iPhone 12 Pro Max. I want to turn it off now. And you see, if we have a prior repair attempt and we know how to work in the right way, it's not a problem to get access to the important data. We always go the fastest way. We always go the fastest way to get access to the important data. And in this case, because layer damage, prior repair attempt, water damage, for me it was the fastest way to say, okay, I swap the top layer board, get access to all the important data, and we are done. I hope you liked the video. If yes, give me a thumbs up. I would be very happy if you would subscribe the channel, give me some comments under, and tell me what do you want to see with the next videos, okay? I'm out. Have a nice day. Yours, Dr. Ben.